We live in an era of uncertainty. Our world is shifting in ways that leave many feelings unsettled. Financial instability, global political tensions, and the rapid advancement of AI. To say the least, the future feels a little bit unpredictable. 30 years of wisdom is not just about information, it's about transformation, about asking better questions, about seeking wisdom in an age of confusion. As a young girl, I was always fascinated by the one question, why do people do what they do? Or better yet, why don't people do what they knew they should do? The moment I took those first steps on those goals, you realize that the only thing that is holding you back is you. Welcome on this second episode of the podcast of 30 Years of Wisdom. As a young girl, I was always fascinated by the one question, why do people do what they do? Or better yet, why don't people do what they knew they should do? That curiosity didn't only extend for others, but also for myself. These questions sparked a long life journey of exploration, learning, and self-discovery. I grew up with dyslexia, so reading was never my forte. When my peers might, breeze through pages, I struggled to absorb words from paper. And then at one stage, Audible came out, and that was, for me, just nothing short than a revelation. Listening to audiobooks really transformed my world, because finally I could read books faster than other people could read them. So it allowed me to devour actually more content than ever before. So suddenly the personal journey of growth opened wide up for me. I could immerse myself into ideas of perspective and life lessons that really fueled my endless curiosity. And not only a desire for growth, but also for life. Even as a child, I felt always a little bit like an outsider. I was deeply aware that I was different from my parents and even more from other kids. My interests were different. I didn't play with dolls, I didn't play with cars. Music was my huge passion. I wanted to know about the stars and the universe and the planets. And when you're a kid and other kids, they play with dolls and cars and things like that, I was definitely an outsider. So my interests were very different. My enthusiasm for life often was overwhelming for me, but then again in a different way. Curiosity always has been my compass in life, leading me to explore and embrace actually the life complexities. And of course, with that curiosity came also disappointment in people, in relationships, in expectations that often went very unmet. These moments of joy, heartbreak, and reflection have shaped me into the woman I am today. Through decades of self-discovery, learning, and growth, I've gathered a collection of insights and knowledge that I now really feel the need to share with all of you. Because knowledge gains true power when applied in life and when shared in life. It triggers conversations, it deepens understanding, and it encourages growth in others. That's the essence of 30 Years of Wisdom. Not just a video podcast, but a community where we can inspire, empower, and connect with each other on a deeper level in our own unique journey of growth. My goal is to create together a space where wisdom can be exchanged, experiences are valued, and that we lift each other up, especially in these uncertain times. The need to real connections is bigger than ever. Now is the time to come together, to learn from each other, and to build a supportive space where we can all grow. We are just at the beginning of this journey of 30 years of wisdom. And right now we aren't with many yet, but hopefully we can change that together. If this resonates with you, I'd love it that you would subscribe and just stick around for a while, Give it a few months. See if this space feels for you. I'll be uploading once a week a podcast. If you want to connect on a deeper level and support this channel, you can find us on Patreon, where we can truly engage with each other. You can also find 30 Years of Wisdom on Instagram. We have a Facebook community group. So let's build that community together. Now, let's continue. I'd love to share a little bit about myself so you can get to know me and you can better understand where my journey started and what led to this moment. I've always had a knack for sales, but my philosophy was never hitting numbers or pushing products. For me, sales always been about building relationships, building trust, and referring one another to each other, and generally aiming to improve the quality of someone's life. That's where, for me, the value lies. Making a meaningful difference, even when it's not always the norm. I think this is one of the reasons that I was a very proud BNI member for over 9 years. Yes, I'm sure that I triggered some entrepreneurs out there when you heard me say BNI. Well, stick around. This might get interesting for you. Well, growing up in a world without internet, smartphones, or social media wasn't actually that easy for someone like me, because I absolutely love all of that. Being an outsider, someone who didn't quite fit the mold, it was challenging. So I tried to follow the crowd, but I never felt authentic. And time again, I really found myself stepping away to carve my own path. Sometimes with success, and other times taking really, really hard hits. One of the most important chapters in my life came when I was around 21, when I moved abroad. As a young woman, I started to work for an American company in Spain, and I had the privilege of meeting and learning from people of countless nationalities. That experience started really a huge adventure for me, and that stayed with me ever since. Later in life, I became self-employed and started working for a direct sales company. And from being a presenter, I quickly moved on to managing my own team. And eventually I became a distributor. And this role really gave me the chance to speak to larger audiences and travel the world. However, after 15 years, it all came to a very abruptly end. And the details of what happened and how it ended, that's for another episode. But that left me in a very deep emotional void, and it took me many years to climb back out of that. This was in 2012, and that was right after the beginning of social media as we know it today. The year before, in 2011, I had traveled to Versailles in France with my partner, my ex-partner, for the stay of a long weekend. And while he was enjoying a massage that I had arranged for him, I stayed behind in the room to get myself ready. CNN was playing on the TV in the room, and I was in the bathroom when a very deep and warm, very powerful voice caught my attention. So I thought, who's that? So I went back into the room to see the face behind that captivating voice. And that man, my friends, was Tony Robbins. The way he shared his life story, his energy for life, that really caught my attention. That moment marked a beginning of a new season in my life. When we returned, I bought a CD package. Yes, I know, back in that time, there were actually CDs. And I listened to it with immense enthusiasm. You know, it's amazing when things appear in your life when you're ready for them. There is a saying, the teacher will come when the pupil is ready, and I was ready. A few months later, I received an email about Tony Robbins coming to Rome for a UPW, Unleash the Power Within. That event really caught my attention, and of course, I went. It wasn't just those 4 days that were really transformative and that really changed my life and my look on life. It was especially the fire walk. That experience really triggered a massive shift in my mindset. It opened a world of possibilities. Walking over hot coals without burning your feet was really surprising, to say the least. But beyond the physical challenge, it was a very powerful mind shift. It teaches you that fear is often just an illusion, that your mindset is a lot stronger than you think, and that you are capable of a lot more than you would ever imagine. The moment I took those first steps on those coals, I realized that. You realize that the only thing that is holding you back is you. And the realization of that was for me life-changing. I remember floating on air as I made my way back home. All the participants were lanyards, and at the airport in Rome, going back home, we kept bumping into each other at the check-in. Now, mind you, at that event there were 6,000 people at that moment, so no wonder we were keeping bumping into each other. There are moments in life that you take a photo with your heart, that you take a video with your heart. And that memory etched so deeply in my mind that I will never forget it. This was one of those moments. We began to sing at one point, and for those that ever attended a Tony Robbins event, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we went like this. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Can you imagine all the people looking at you and at the other people that when we were singing together? Can you imagine the energy in that airport at the check-in? It was, that really was the moment that I never forgot. And every time when I think about it, I get the same emotions. I lost my voice for 3 days afterwards, but those days really changed my life. Only I really didn't realize it at that moment. Another thing is that my intuition told me that, I call it a whisper. That's intuition, the whisper. To connect with as many people as I could on Facebook. That was really in the beginning years of Facebook, the people that I met at the event. And at that time, I really didn't know why, but I just trusted my instinct. Now, years later, I understand why. Because in 2015, I became a social media manager. And that was also thanks to the event of Tony Robbins, because later I went to all the events that he arranged. And at one of those events that I attended for 5 days, that was Business Mastery, one of the speakers was Frank Kern. And he was the one that really motivated me to switch from where I was as a concessionaire, as a distributor, to social media. So I went back many times to the US to learn social media. It took me another 15 years to really break out, to stop following the pack, to be truly who I am, and that is why I'm starting this podcast. I don't want you to lose years with your voice stuck inside of you. We all have a responsibility to share our voice with the world. And that is what my mission is with 30 years of wisdom. We live in an era of uncertainty. Our world is shifting in ways that leave many feelings unsettled. Financial instability, global political tensions, and the rapid advancement of AI. To say the least, the future feels a little bit unpredictable. And as a society, we are trying to find our direction in all of this. For example, AI is no longer a distant concept. It's here. It's transforming the way we live, we work. And AGI, artificial general intelligence, coming now on the horizon, the impact will be even more profound. So, what does this mean for us humans? How will we adapt in a world where machines can think, learn, and create at a revolutionary level? Jobs will disappear, but new opportunities will emerge. The challenge is not to resist AI, but to prepare for it, to understand how we can work alongside with AI rather against it. But change is the most difficult thing for any person on earth. This is one of the many topics that I will be exploring in 30 years of wisdom. I will invite experts who are far ahead of me in these fields, people that can provide insights on what's happening, where are we going, where are we headed, and how we can navigate in this new reality. But this podcast isn't just about AI. It's about the bigger picture. It's about how we as individuals and as a society can navigate through this change, even when everything is around us evolving. Another very critical topic is our health. We are living in times where convenience has overtaken consciousness. Processed food is everywhere. Even when you think it's not, it's processed. And its impact on our bodies is undeniable. Obesity rates are skyrocketing, even here in Belgium. And we are slowly poisoning ourselves with what we eat. But there's also some good news. We can change that. And this I know from personal experience. In the past 3 years, I had 5 surgeries. Going through that made me reflect deeply on my own well-being and my health. When your body is forced to slow down, you start to question everything. How you treat your body, what you put into your body, and how we take so much for granted. For me, that was a really big wake-up call. That's why understanding nutrition, making better choices, exercise will be also a recurring theme in this podcast. 30 years of wisdom is not just about information, it's about transformation, about asking better questions, about seeking wisdom in an age of confusion, and about learning how to thrive in the world we are creating. Education, that's for me also a very important topic. Are we preparing for the future? Most Western countries are not moving fast enough to adapt to this changing world. Schools still focus on outdated models of learning, prioritizing memorization over real-world skills. But in other parts of the world, primary schools, children are already being trained in communication, problem solving, and even entrepreneurial thinking, skills that are essential in today's rapidly evolving world and a rapidly evolving society. Many parents don't realize this. They assume that education system is preparing their kids for the future, but in reality, it's not keeping up. So how can parents take matters in their own hands? How can parents equip their children with the skills they will actually need in the next 10, 20, 30 years? We will be discussing in depth, looking at alternative education models, practical ways to teach critical thinking, and how we can push for more change in our societies. Another topic, the truth about social media. We often hear the negative impact, how it fuels addiction, comparison, and misinformation. And don't get me wrong, it's true. But we also know that social media can be very powerful for education, connection, and even growth. It's often the way that we use social media that needs to change. Let's take an example. Human of New York, founded by a photographer, Brandon Stanton. Humans of New York started as a photography project that has turned into a global phenomenon, largely due to the reach of social media. Stanton began by posting images and stories of New Yorkers on a dedicated Facebook page. Those captivating stories and amazing photographs quickly captured the hearts of millions. This social media project has raised awareness and funds for various causes, connecting people from all walks of life. Social media played a very important role in amplifying these stories and encouraged a sense of global empathy and community. Another example, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Also a good one. Social media really helped the ALS Bucket Challenge go into a viral fundraising campaign. The challenge involved people dumping a bucket of ice water over their heads, posting that video online and nominating someone else to do the same, encouraging donations to the ALS Association. That campaign gained quickly momentum as celebrities, athletes, and millions of individuals participated, sharing their videos on social media platforms. So did I. The challenge raised over $115 million for ALS research. Also, this example demonstrates how social media can engage people in a fun way, interactive way, to support important causes. Social media is not the enemy. It does do a lot of good, but it's the way that we use it that determines its value. And that's why I want to create an international community so that we can communicate, exchange knowledge, like how to teach our kids to use social media, and learn faster from each other. 30 years of wisdom is not about my voice. It's about yours. It's about all of us growing together. This podcast can be for you if you want to be a part of this journey. If you want to take back your life into your own hands, if you're ready to stop following the crowd and start thinking for yourself, looking for the information in the right places. A very important personal note I want to add here is that the last couple of years I've been challenged with health issues, and there were moments in my life that I wasn't sure that I was be able to move forward. But I'm very grateful because even though I don't have any family, my parents were quite old when they got me, so that's why that everybody unfortunately died. That my friends really became my family. They showed up for me in ways that I really never expected. They lifted me up when I needed them most, and it's thanks to them that my mental health is strong and that I now have the energy, the courage, and the passion to embark on this new chapter in my life with 30 years of wisdom. So I really understand how important and how powerful it is to have a community, to have a support system around you. This podcast is more than just a platform. It's a reflection of everything I've learned, of every challenge I have overcome, and every lesson I still have to learn. That's why I'm building this community where we can connect, share, and grow as a collective. A space where we can all have real conversations, exchange insights, and support one another. And if you would like to go even deeper and support me and this channel, this you can do through my Patreon. You'll have the opportunity to go deeper, to engage in deeper discussions, and to be a part of a group that's actively shaping the future with intention and with wisdom. Listen, I don't have all the answers. I still have many questions in life, but together we will explore them. Join the conversation, subscribe, and let's build a community of wisdom, growth, and real talk. And connect on your favorite social media platform or podcast platform. Follow me on Patreon for exclusive content and live discussions. Let's begin.